All right, settle in, grab your favorite, overpriced artisanal coffee, because today we're going there. We're peeling back the curtain on all the stuff they never taught you in school about money, and let me tell you, it is a wild ride. A bit like finding out your favorite celebrity has 6 toes. Shocking, but kinda makes sense. Once you think about it, many people ask me, what is the secret to making serious cash? Like, the kind of cash that lets you buy all the limited edition sneakers and still have money left for, like, rent. And I tell them the truth, a truth so simple, so boring, so utterly unsexy that they usually just stare at me with the same blank expression they get when I explain why kale is not a superfood. It is about understanding the game, the rules, and frankly, playing it better than everyone else who is still stuck thinking a savings account is investing. Let's start with the elephant in your bank account, the silent killer of your dreams, the thing that makes you question if you're actually being paid or just role-playing as a human ATM for the government. I'm talking about taxes. Picture this. Imagine you just had a hard month at work. You were slaving away, flipping burgers at your local McDonald's, probably dealing with 27 different "can I speak to your manager" moments. You're finally in bed, ready to melt into your mattress when you get an email. From them it says you've been paid $2,000, but then you peek at your bank account and boom, it is only $1,456. You scroll down, that digital pay stub, federal income tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. This, my friends, is the modern ritual of giving away a chunk of your hard-earned money to invisible forces, and the best part, they expect you to say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another slice of my paycheck, please?" Here is the deal. And I know this might sting a little, taxes are the cost of civilization. You pay for the roads you complain about but still use. The government funds schools, which, let's be honest, probably still need more funding, and make sure your favorite taco truck isn't infested with rats. Though, I still sighed. That one truck, near my place. And yes, they also send billion-dollar missiles to places you've never even heard of, because geopolitics. But here is the thing. Not all taxes are created equal. You've got income tax, which hits the money you make. Sales tax, which hits the money you spend. Ever notice how that $80 shirt suddenly becomes, yeah, that is sales tax saying hello. And then the sneaky one, the capital gains tax, which hits the money your investments made while you were happily asleep, dreaming of perfectly cooked burritos. The government basically takes a little bit of every dollar you touch. Nearly everyone also pays Social Security tax and Medicare tax. Think of Social Security tax, like the government, forcing you to save for your retirement. They force you to save money now, and you get it paid back to you over time when you finally retire and can chase pigeons in the park all day. Medicare, however, is a health insurance tax that goes to supporting older people or people with serious health issues. Because, we gotta keep Aunt Mildred in her golden years healthy and complaining about everything. Now for the grand finale, the annual financial circus, filing your taxes. Oh boy, the government, in all its infinite wisdom, knows exactly how much you owe. But it makes you guess. How cool is that? It is like playing a high-stakes game of financial charades. If you're right, no worries. You get a cookie, or a refund, which is basically a cookie for adults. But if you're wrong, you're cooked like well-done steak in a bad restaurant. When it comes to actually paying taxes, some people pay every few months, like a financial subscription. Some people pay yearly, like a once-a-year financial root canal. And then there are those people that don't pay at all and end up in documentaries with dramatic music and blurry faces. I get it. Taxes are annoying, a bit like having to listen to your uncle's conspiracy theories at Thanksgiving dinner, but it is not all bad. Countries with higher tax rates generally have a higher quality of life all around, less stress, more public services, fewer arguments over who gets the last slice of pizza. So maybe it is not just a giant scam. Maybe it is just a really annoying necessary evil, like kale. Next up, the grand illusion, the place where your money goes to play hide and seek banks. So you walk into a bank probably smelling like a fresh $20 bill and a faint hint of desperation. You hand the cashier your money. They count it with that practiced, slightly condescending smile and tell you it will be added to your account. You walk out feeling like a financial boss, thinking great. Now it is sitting in a giant vault somewhere, being guarded by a dragon with laser beams for eyes. But in reality, my friends, that money's already gone, poof, vanished. Like my motivation, on a Monday morning, most people think of banks like a big safe with only one job, guarding people's money. But in reality, they are just a middleman or a matchmaker. For financial transactions, they're basically the Tinder for your money. When you deposited that $1,000, the bank took 900 of it and gave it to someone who wants to buy a jet ski. Because, priorities, that system is called fractional reserve banking, which basically relies on the idea that they only actually need to keep a fraction of the money on hand, because not everyone is going to show up at the same time asking to withdraw 100% of their account. That is, unless it is 2008. Of course, when people lined up like it was a Black Friday sale to withdraw the entirety of their account, which caused the entire system to crumble like a stale cookie banks. They make money by lending your money at a higher interest rate than they are giving you. That is really it. You're the supply of money, the person borrowing is the demand. The banks, they entice you to deposit your money. For a few reasons. One, it is much easier and more convenient to spend on a card or transfer than carrying around cash all the time. Because who wants to look like a drug dealer with a wad of hundreds in their pocket too? They are literally paying you to hold your money with them in the form of interest. Though, let's be real, that interest rate is usually sadder than a lonely sock in the laundry. 3, it is much safer to keep your money in a bank than in a shoebox in your room because, let's be honest, your roommate has sticky fingers. In the US, most banks are insured up to $250,000 per person, meaning no matter what, the government assures you that your money, up to $250,000, is safe. So while banks aren't the dragons guarding gold you thought they were, they're still a necessary evil. In this wild world of money now, let's talk about the silent force that either makes you rich or makes you cry into your instant noodles. Interest. Imagine you borrow $1,000 from your friend. Hey buddy, just need a quick grand, you say. But then, when you go to pay it back, you have to pay $1,280. Why? Because of interest. My friend, interest is money's way of charging rent to exist in someone else's hands. It is like your money got an Airbnb and it is charging a premium for its stay. When you borrow, interest is the price tag for using someone else's cash. It is the thank you for letting me borrow this. I'll pay you extra fee when you lend or save. Interest is the reward for being patient and boring. It is the universe saying, hey, thanks for not blowing all your money on silly things. Here is a little something for your troubles. There are 2 main types. Simple interest is like, here is a flat fee, thanks for playing. It is straightforward, no hidden agendas, no complicated math. Compound interest. Oh boy. Now we're talking. Compound interest is every dollar I gave you now has clones. And they also want rent. It is like your money is a super-powered amoeba, just multiplying and multiplying. Let's say you owe 20% interest. On a credit card, you miss a payment because, let's be real, life happens. And sometimes those burritos are just too good. Now, your interest is earning interest. It is like a financial snowball, rolling downhill, picking up speed and size. Soon, your $12 burrito turns into a $50 regret that haunts your dreams. On the flip side, investing at 7% annual compound interest, that is your money, duplicating itself like a cheat code. In a video game, $100 becomes $200, then $400. Then one day, you wake up and you're old, rich, and a little smug about it, because you understood the power of compound interest. This is why interest is the silent engine behind both wealth and debt. In loans, it is the slow burn that turns small mistakes into financial fires. In investments, it is the time bomb that turns small gains into massive wins. So, it is the last piece of pizza at a party. If you're earning interest, let it sit, feed it, and give it time. Because that is your money. Doing all the heavy lifting. Interest is either your worst enemy or your best unpaid employee. The choice is in who is collecting it. Choose wisely, my friends. Choose wisely. Let's talk about why your $5 coffee now costs $7 and why that bag of chips looks like it has been. On a diet, I'm talking about inflation. Okay, so you bought a bag of chips, open it up, and it looks like it has already been half-eaten. You check what you paid, 30% higher than last time. Then you realize you've just been hit by inflation. Inflation is what happens when money slowly gets less valuable over time. Not overnight, not with fireworks and a marching band. Just a slow, silent erosion like a forgotten snack. In the back of your fridge, your $5 bill still technically $5, but it buys less. Instant noodles, less gas, and doesn't actually have as much value as it did before. It is like your money went on a diet and lost all its curves. So what actually causes it? Sometimes people just have too much money. Everyone's got cash and they all want to spend it on the same stuff. Let's say 2,000 people want this $500 TV, but the business only has 1,000 TVs for sale. So the business goes, oh, everyone wants this TV, that'll be $800. Because capitalism, baby now. Sometimes it is supply chains with hiccups or problems, making the cost of producing a good or service more expensive, meaning the cost of that good or service must rise because no one's working for free, or sometimes just cause expectations can cause inflation. If people think prices are rising, they'll spend more now, driving prices up faster. It is a self-fulfilling economic prophecy, like when you tell yourself you're going to eat healthy and then immediately order a pizza. A little inflation is normal, even good 2% a year. That is fine, predictable. But if it spikes, savings die, wages lag. The government tries to fight inflation when this occurs by raising interest rates. When the government raises interest rates, people are paying more interest, or it is more expensive to get a loan, meaning they have less money to spend on things like TVs. This causes a reduction in the amount of spending, pretty much cooling off the economy. It is like putting your economy in the freezer to stop it from overheating. And now for the financial horror movie, recessions. A recession is when the economy decreases for at least 2 quarters or 6 months. In simple terms, one day, you're fine. You've got a job, bills are paid, you might even be planning a trip with the family, probably to Disney, because who doesn't love overpriced theme parks? But suddenly, there is layoffs. The stock market's only going down and your neighbor just started a backyard chicken farm in a recession. Jobs vanish, companies cut costs, and everyone saves their money for necessities instead of buying things they don't need, like that artisanal pickle slicer you've been eyeing. Why does a recession happen? It could be a range of things. Could be high interest rates, making borrowing too expensive. Could be a global crisis, war, pandemic, rogue container ship, blocking a canal. Yes, that actually happened. Could just be the economic cycle, doing what it does best. Boom, peak, bust, reset. Think of the economy as a party. In the boom phase, everyone's dancing, drinks are flowing, probably a little too much, free champagne. But eventually, the lights flicker, reality hits, someone checks their bank account, and suddenly the DJ's playing Sad Low, 5 beats, about corporate downsizing. Recessions aren't forever, they're resets. Painful ones. Governments might lower interest rates, send out stimulus, or just hope people start buying overpriced coffee. Again, eventually, spending returns, businesses rebuild growth resumes, but not without scars.